Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Springmore 30 Town Hall meeting, where we will give you some pertinent information and answer all and any questions you may have. As always, I'm joined by Brad Dilday, Daniel Sakaris, and of course, Holly Martin. She'll be taking notes for me today, and we'll be sending out a recap memo to everyone, so everyone is on the same page, and we'll get those out to family members and staff, and hopefully keep everybody up to speed on what's going on here at Springmore. So again, welcome. Good afternoon. I hope everybody enjoyed our world premiere of Smiles from Springmore staff. That was a really neat slideshow that was created by Holly Martin and Carrie Ritchie. I'm sure there's some other people that helped. I'm sure Daniel was a part of that and some other staff I'm forgetting, but hope y'all enjoyed that. Hope you did get to smile a little bit and see hopefully some familiar faces or faces you may not know. Just something different hopefully to brighten your day. So if you missed it today, don't worry. There's 2 more chances to see it this week. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., right before dinner, and then Friday at 9 a.m. after you wake up. So I can't think of 2 better times to air it again. So Smiles from Springmore staff, check that out tomorrow at 4 and Friday at 9 a.m. I want to thank everybody again for their continued support and kind words that you continue to share with the staff and me. It's been very, again, heartwarming and very uplifting to know how much y'all care. I was talking this morning at our stand-up meeting about retirement communities and nursing homes not getting enough credit. We always seem to be left out behind hospitals, and I understand that. You know, hospitals are, you know, they take the sick of the sick, and some of the worst cases are the hospital, and those nurses are working hard. But you know, the epicenter of where these most cases are, you know, of an abundance are in nursing homes. And it's just a pet peeve of mine, for I always think the long-term care industry always gets overlooked from time to time. And as you hear people say thank you to healthcare workers as doctors and nurses and, you know, the grocery store workers, and we're all very, very thankful for them. But knowing that y'all are thankful for the staff here, the housekeeping, the dining, the nurses, and the CNAs, especially in our health center, that are taking care of all of our residents every day, just like a hospital would. Again, the hospital is, you know, it's business as usual with a little less business, you know, no elective procedures. So, you know, I just think that's just important for everybody to remember. And that's just one of my little things I wanted to just say, that I really appreciate y'all's kind words, because I feel like our industry is left out sometimes. So with all that, we'll get into a couple of updates I want to talk about and some reminders, and then a couple of announcements. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was coronavirus scams. We're starting to see a lot of those over the past few weeks. I've had a couple of residents tell me about that, a couple of staff members. So if you're getting any kind of fishy phone calls like you normally would through a scam, but they're using, you know, the word coronavirus or COVID-19 from the IRS or Social Security or a bank, you know, don't even entertain talking to them. I would hang up immediately. It's unfortunate that people try to capture on vulnerable people this time when something bad's happening, but they are out there. So again, make sure if you do get a fishy phone call from a scam, which unfortunately we're probably all been, you know, have been exposed to before, just make sure you're just hanging up and not even talking to anybody. Nobody's going to call you again from the bank or from IRS or from Social Security. Those people will not call you and ask those questions. So please be mindful of that. Another thing I wanted to talk about that I failed to mention last week, and I apologize, I had several residents tell me, and even a faithful resident, my good friend Peg Bedini, who it encouraged me to talk about the styrofoam containers. It totally slipped my mind, and I apologize. We're having issues with a lot of people throwing their styrofoam containers into the recycle bins. Remember, those are not recyclable. That's why we went to the biodegradable carry-out boxes, but we have not been using those recently due to the product being hard to get and due to the price. So they are more than the styrofoam, and we're burning through a lot of takeouts, obviously, every day. So we've discontinued that until this is over. We will start that back up eventually, but in the meantime, we are using styrofoam containers. So please just make sure that you are putting those into the regular trash containers, so the recycle bins. They're tending to overflow. If you see one that is overflowing, make sure you call Randy Horton 7052, and he'll have somebody come and remove it, take care of it. But again, no styrofoam containers in the recycle bins. Something I was very excited that we were able to provide everybody was washable cloth masks. We distributed those on Saturday, and I hope everybody has one. I know a few people got missed somehow. Again, when you're dealing with about 500 residents and mail, it's never perfect. But if you did not get a washable cloth mask, call Holly at the front office, 7388. And she will make sure that you get one. We'll put one in your mailbox, or we'll have somebody bring it to you. But I wanted to make sure, if all possible, that I bought everybody a mask from Springmore. I thought that was important to provide y'all that, and had all intentions of getting everybody one as soon as the staffs were made. But I was able to find a company in Asheboro, North Carolina, called Boston Medical, who had an abundance of these cloth masks and a community, a nonprofit CCRC called Crossroads in Asheboro told us about this company in his hometown, and we were able to call and have those overnighted 500 masks on Friday and distribute those on Saturday. So I hope everybody got one of those. Again, if you didn't get one, call Holly. It's just something that we wanted to do. I'm sure many of you have already had masks, but now you have two. And it's just another way that we're just trying to take extra precautions for everybody to have those masks. There's a lot of stuff going on about masks and when to wear them and not to wear them. It could be debated all day. Just be mindful they are required in the health center, so all staff and anybody in the health center are wearing masks. It's advised if you're out in the public to wear them. It's not required, at least not yet, by Wake County. Durham County it is. So it's changing, but just I think most people are pretty cautious about it, and just wear them whenever you think if you're going to be around. I'd say, like, walking down the hall or going to pick up your mail or something, it may be a good time to wear it. Next, I want to talk about dining. Dining continues to be just incredible, I think, and we'll continue to look at trying to expand that. I'm afraid we're going to be delivering meals for a while. My hopes are there'll be a combination of maybe some takeout and meal delivery and eating in the dining room eventually, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But for the time being, we're going to continue to deliver meals, and we're still trying to figure out what we can add to the options that we can, but still have the service run smoothly. So I know Jennifer's working on that. I know we have not had breakfast for people, which a lot of people like. So just know we're working on a few more bistro-type items, like a hamburger or a hot dog or a sandwich. Perhaps some breakfast items, but just I'm not sure if or when we're going to be able to make that happen, but we are continuing to look at that. So please know that. Just a reminder, if you have not received your meal by these certain times, you can call the on-call dining service number. It is 919-971-1328. Again, that's 919-971-1328, and the schedule should be lunch should be delivered no later than 12:30 Monday through Saturday. So make sure, remember, that's not including Sunday. So lunch by 12:30 Monday through Saturday, supper by 6:15 Monday through Saturday, and lunch on Sunday by 1:30. I know there's some concern about lunch being delivered around 1:30, but that is the time for for lunch. We have more meals on Sunday than any other day, obviously, because we do provide a sandwich option now, but most people always take advantage of the Sunday lunch, so we have to extend that a little bit. So just be mindful that lunch on Sunday give us till 1:30 and before you call, but don't hesitate to call. We don't want anybody going hungry. Make sure you got some food. Next, I want to talk about pathways a little bit, spiritual wellness. We continue to have a lot of good things going on in spiritual wellness. I'll kind of read some stuff straight off the list that the chaplains wanted me to go over. First, Easter Bible study. It's streaming on Springmore 1341 on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. for the next 4 weeks. So again, the Easter Bible study on 1341 on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. for the next 4 weeks. Sunday school is streaming every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. I assume Mr. Jackson is doing that. Is that right? So he's doing that faithfully as he's done for quite some time, continuing to have that broadcast. Vespers will be every Sunday as normal at 7 p.m. And Lori and Juliana are working to make sure that continues. So those ongoing things on Monday at 10 and 7. And then just a word of encouragement here. Please send thank you cards and words of encouragement for Springmore employees to the chaplains to display on boards around campus. Lori and I think Juliana, mainly the chaplains, but Juliana created these wonderful boards, or just thank you boards of Springmore heroes, of just nice notes that we've received, and I've got tons I could probably put up, but we've been gathering these, and just from the residents saying thank you to us, which means the world to us. So we're putting those up so the residents can see. For the residents can see what other people wrote, but mainly for the staff to see. Again, it makes them feel so good to know they're appreciated. I try to tell them, I meet with each group. I try to do at least every other week with housekeeping or dining or health center. So any of that you can do, like a 7-service promise, but write it for a whole group of people, that goes a really, really long way with them. So thank y'all for doing those. Continue to write those and continue to send those to Juliana. She's done a fantastic job with making that happen. Another thing I want to mention, and one thing that is bad for everybody during this time is loneliness. I thankfully I'm not lonely. I have a job to come to like I do every day, and a family to go home to, but that's not the case for everybody. That's not the case for all of our residents, and not the case for all of our staff. So the chaplains are here if you're feeling extremely lonely or feeling just kind of down. It is very depressing. You can't go anywhere. You can't get anything. It's kind of a redundant schedule over and over. We know it's going to get better, but times are tough right now, and this week's been tough for me. I've been, down a little bit about just, the same kind of routine. But quick as I think about it, it goes away. But sometimes that doesn't happen for people, and they do tend to get lonely. So don't hesitate to call Lori or Juliana or even Allison Weaver, our independent social worker, and we can arrange some visits or just some calls or just something we can do to make sure you're okay and talk with you. I know a lot of people are just wanting to talk more when they see people, when they make medical calls or they call up here, and that's what we're here for. We're here to help you and talk to you. So don't be shy, and let these professionals help you if you're feeling lonely, and that goes for our staff as well. Next, we'll talk about life enrichment. Leah's continued to do a fantastic job as well with everything she has done. She gave me a packet today of all the stuff she's done. I'm keeping all this stuff, and this will be a great thing for our archives committee. Mr. Auld, I do want to get all of this with Daniel's help as he sits in here to get all this documented and archived in our archive committee. I'd like to look back on this one day and I don't know if I want to remember it, but it's really hard to forget, but just to kind of see all the things we did, and pray we never have to do anything like this again. But it's neat to see all this. So I'm keeping all this stuff for archives. But as far as announcements for life enrichment, I'm just going to kind of read through these. Evening streaming music concerts started this week and will continue every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:15. Which is the same time we have live performance in the auditorium. So as you can tell, Leah's trying to keep some kind of normal schedule with performances and concerts. So every Tuesday and every Thursday at 7:15 we'll be airing something over 1341. So please look out for that. Wednesday special interest program at 3:30 continues to be popular, and we've added some new shows to that schedule. So as I read this, I continue to think about how thankful we are to have this in-house TV channel and the slides. We think that's a kind of a common thing, but I talk to other communities and they don't have this, and I just think we're limited on what we can do with activity-wise. So if we didn't have the in-house TV channel to show Vespers and Sunday school and do these life enrichment activities and exercise classes and staff and smiles and all that great stuff, it would be much less to do. So I'm really thankful for that, and hope y'all are too. So continue to talk a little bit more about this. Streaming art classes and lessons begin this Thursday. All art classes will be at 3:30 on 1341. Check the schedule for days. So again, streaming art classes. Again, really creative with the way we're doing things and trying to continue to provide y'all some type of activity through life enrichment. The first class will be a doodling journal. Doodle journaling. Journals were recently provided. I think that was to talk about some of your stories and archive what you went through during this time to pass on to your family, especially your grandkids, for them to see that. And next week, an easy Kandinsky painting. Am I saying that right? Kandinsky painting. I am not that cultural in the arts, apparently. So Kandinsky painting lesson will air, and supplies will be sent to residents in advance. So, if anyone knows what a Kandinsky painting is, be the first caller at 7054, and we will. I don't know what we'll do. We'll get Jennifer to bake you a cake or something. Anyway, so let's be mindful of that. We do continue to give out little surprises in your mail or outside your doors to keep you occupied during this time. With a diverse population, we're trying different things. Hopefully, we'll share something that will bring you enjoyment. I just got a call from a very good friend over in South Village who expressed his thanks for this exact thing, just the little surprises and the things outside the doorstep. But we got a caller. All right, Kandinsky painting. Let's see what that is. And just a really nice call from him, just stating how thankful he was for those little things we're doing, and what he said what really makes spring more special and adds that special touch. So great job, Leah, and your staff for doing that. Instructions on how to view a tutorial for using Zoom were sent out this week. Again, Zoom is a way to video chat with your family and friends. It's similar to FaceTime if you do that on an iPhone, but you can see multiple people, and it's better done on a computer like a desktop or a laptop. You can see multiple people, I think up to 40, but it's a great way to communicate with your family, with your friends, your church. People do Sunday school classes on that, and again, I'd eventually like to maybe do some live exercise classes, some interactive live Bible studies, and book clubs, and just anything possible to do interaction stuff of things we normally do in person until we can gather again. So again, just check out that Zoom stuff that was sent out. I know that's up on the portal under important links, and it's pretty easy to follow. I picked it up pretty quick, and I'm not that tech savvy, so hopefully you guys can figure that out, and don't hesitate to call us if you need some help. And lastly, as a reminder, we're constantly adding items to the mail, so please pick up your mail in both locations in North and South Village each day. Again, those in-house mailboxes are rather small, and a lot of people get a lot of mail, so make sure you're checking those daily so we can get everything in there. All right, do we have an answer on the Kandinsky painting? Okay. All right, so it looks like we got he was a modern painter, and yeah, very colorful. I like that. Yeah. So anyway, we'll again next week we're going to have a lesson, and supplies will be sent to residents in advance. Kandinsky. If you don't know, now you know. I do. All right. Before we close here, I would seriously like to talk about some next steps moving forward and things that will probably be happening over the next few weeks to a month. I do anticipate things probably reopening slowly throughout the state and throughout the county. What that means for us, I'm not quite sure. I think we will gradually backtrack as we had to move forward with shutting stuff down. My hopes are that we will be able to eventually provide 10 or less gatherings to where we can do a Bible study, an exercise group, a book club, an art class, open up the exercise rooms, open up the pool again. Hopefully that will increase even more to have maybe 50 people or less. And then I think how that will affect us will be dining. I think we'll continue to do a lot of deliveries. I think it will be a combination of three options probably eventually for a while, which will be delivery, takeout, and then dining service. I mean, dining weighted service in the dining rooms. I think we'll probably do 2 or 3 seating, so that's something very popular. I'm not sure how we'll do that. I'm not even saying we will do that, but as things are lifted, we will work those into the amenities we have at Springmore. Again, you know, the option of coming to a dining room with 50 or less. It may have to be a first come, first serve. Maybe you sign up for seating 1, seating 2. We'll have to work all that out. The salons, again, that is controlled by the state. I had a resident family member ask me about that, and all the cosmetologists are licensed by North Carolina, so they legally cannot practice. So we offer our hair salon to the beauticians, but we cannot allow them to come in and practice, nor could they practice. So hopefully that will be lifted where we can open up the salons again. So I think we're going to see some things internally open up, but I don't know how quickly, and I don't know how that's going to affect something that's very important, such as visitation. You know, we really need to stay strong and steadfast on that. I think we've really driven the point home about visiting and not having people come over and only leaving if you have to. Again, I cannot stop you from leaving Springmore. If you're leaving, I hope it's for just very essential stuff, a pharmacy, an appointment, a doctor's appointment, a grocery store, and you're not going to see family, you're not going around people, and you're coming there and you're going back. That's your right. I can't stop you from doing that, nor would I want to. I just ask you please be careful about that, minimize that. And then one thing we can enforce is no visitors on campus. I've said it many times, I'll say it again, it's been all or nothing, and that's not how I wanted to do it, but it got to where normally I don't let a few people ruin it for everybody, but with something so serious, I've had to go that way that I normally do not like to do. So it's kind of all or nothing right now with the visitors. People are doing a good job, I think, of having less visitors. Hopefully the residents are telling their family members. I did send out the memo to a lot of independent resident family members I had email addresses for. I'm very hopeful that they got the memo and they're refraining from visiting. And again, I hope that we continue to practice that. I don't know how or when that will be lifted, but right now we're staying the course on that heavy, just as we are with everything else. But I will say, I think with the nursing home, that's going to be later. I think we've heard of 3 phases of opening the economy. I know the governor of each state has the opportunity to decide how he wants to do that, but for most everything I'm reading, the last step or the 3rd phase would be visitation to nursing homes. So I don't see that loosening up for quite some time, unfortunately. So just being mindful of that. I think we can maybe in the future when it's loosened up, maybe allow spouses, maybe do some more stuff. But as far as visitors in the health center and on campus, I don't know when that will be loosened. So just be mindful when you hear the governor or the president talk about reopening. That's great, but we're under a different set of rules here and under different expectations here. So as things loosen up more around the state, throughout the nation, they're still going to be more strict here. And that's been the way it's been since day one. That's what we have to do to make sure everybody's safe. And I hope you know that we try to do as much as we can through a very democratic way and just a very common sense way of allowing things but not allowing things. So we look at it in a very practical way, in a very just way that we would want, you know, for y'all to have and live a good life. So anyway, just keep that in mind. Hopefully, again, we'll be able to gradually open things on a smaller scale within Springmore before everything is all open again. So, you know, it will provide us some interaction and hopefully a better socialization and a better quality of life once this is lifted a little bit. So with that is all the information I have. I'm sure Holly's already got that down. She'll probably have the memo done by today. You should have it by tomorrow. So if there are any questions you have or anything that you want to talk about, we'll be taking calls at 7054. I do need to see, Mrs. Everett was the one with the Kandinsky painting? Yes. Okay. So we got to get her something. Miss, If Miss Everett wants to call at 7054 and tell me her favorite cake or her husband's favorite cake, I will go ahead and guarantee that we will get you that cake. We are going to get you that cake. I hope you like it. You can leave some pieces outside neighbors' doors if you like. Don't invite them over for a cake party, but you can leave that out there as a nice little surprise. So, Miss Everett, if you call it 7054, we'll get you that cake. What we got, sir? The question was, am I requiring everyone in Springmore to wear masks as they go out in the hallways? I am not requiring that. I can request that. It is required in the health center. That is mandated through the state, so I have to do that. I think it's a good practice to wear the mask in the hallways. I've got some calls about that. I know there's a lot of staff members that wear them. I'll be honest, when I'm in my office, I don't wear it. If I walk 20 feet down the hall to the bathroom, I don't wear it. But maybe it's something we need to be more diligent in doing. So I will, I do want, but I do want to stress that everybody in the health center are wearing the mask. The people in dining services in the kitchen are wearing the mask. When they're doing the assembly line, they should be wearing the mask. When they're delivering the food, they should be wearing the mask. Housekeepers should be wearing the masks. But as far as it being a requirement for residents and staff in the independent living areas, I think it's a very good idea. And I have mine on here, so I'm trying to be more diligent about that. So we'll strongly encourage people to do that. Okay, so the question is, if we have a case, how would we go about testing other residents or employees? It's a great question. Once we figure out if it's a resident or an employee, we will have to notify everybody, including you and the local health department, and then they'll help us guide on how to best do that. So we'll have to basically backtrack and do some detective work, and we'll have to narrow it down of pretty much who, if let's say it's a Sally Jones. I hope we don't have a Sally Jones here. Do we, Brenda? Okay, it's just a generic name I came up with. Sally Jones. I don't think so either. So if Sally Jones has it, we would send out a memo. I'm thinking in my head to everybody that a resident on 3rd floor, Creedmoor, we have an active case on Creedmoor 3rd floor. So everybody else throughout Springmore were like, okay, it's not me, I don't have to worry about it. Then would send out another memo specific to the people on that hall and ask, have you been around Miss Sally Jones recently? And then we have to go back and backtrack that. I don't know any other way to do it. I don't think it's, if somebody has it, we've got to just figure it out so we know who we can test. Maybe it's a hallway. We need to ask who's been around them for the last week or so, and we'll just kind of backtrack. Again, we have Margot's our infection control nurse. She stays up on that, and so does the local health department. So we'll just have to do our best detective work of backtracking to see who they were around, and then we will ask them to isolate themselves. We would treat the case here on site unless it was serious and they were sent out. We do, as you know, have an isolation unit in the health center, and then we'd quarantine someone in their apartment as well. So everyone would know if we have a case. So the question was, is it better for the actual resident, you, to go to the grocery store, or have a family member go and drop it off at the front desk? And I really don't know if there is one way better than the other. It puts you out of risk of being in the grocery store around other people, and I think that's most important. And you're not interacting with anybody. So I would say for sure, because the procedure is, if the family member goes and gets groceries, they're supposed to drop it off at the main entrance, and the guard will bring it to you. So as far as the virus living on stuff, we can debate that forever. I think it's much more safe to have someone actually buy the groceries for you and deliver them here, because that decreases the chances of you being exposed to the general public around a lot of people for groceries. Okay. Good reminder. Maybe a good time to get outside and just go to your car and start it up. Make sure it's running. Thankfully, it hasn't been cold this winter, but you don't want them to sit too long. That's a very good idea. Just start your car, make sure it's running good. While we wait on the next question, I have this bottle here every week. It's Burt's Surf Shop. If y'all from North Carolina natives probably know Burt's Surf Shop originated in Kinston, North Carolina, and there's about 8 of them up and down the coast of North and South Carolina. I put this up here every day because I drink out of it every day, but it just reminds me of small businesses really struggling right now to keep stuff open. This is a good one right here that people are, that's a good website to go to and buy. And, a lot of people have jobs there. They've had to temporarily close on the beaches. So anything you're doing to support any kind of local business through online stuff. I know a lot of people that got the stimulus checks are giving them back to businesses or the local economy to keep things going. These small businesses, obviously, as you know, can only sustain so much. So anyway, quick little plug for Burt's Surf Shop if y'all familiar with that. That's it. All right. Oh, we got one more. Did we get the cake preference? Good. All right. All right. Well, Miss Everett, if you'll call Holly and let us know what kind of cake you want, or if there's something else you want, some brownies, some cupcakes, I'll guarantee that we will have someone in dining services make that for you. And I appreciate y'all tuning in. I actually enjoy doing this, if you can't tell. It's a way for me just to talk to y'all. Again, I can't see you, but I try to picture y'all here. I love doing the Resident Association meetings. I love seeing everybody. I love giving out the gifts, and I love being here, which makes me happy. And that's why I'm happy to do this. So we're here to help you. We're very blessed and very thankful, knock on wood, not to have any cases at Springmore. So if you've heard that, that's not true. We have precautionary policies where we put people in isolation or quarantine for precautionary things, but no active cases, and I'm more than thankful for that. So thank you for all you've done. Thank you for our staff, and just thank you for supporting us. And please continue to pray for us in Springmore, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.